Thanks for joining Leadership with Lisa. And I am here to help you with hiring. Not 2020 anymore. You know, the hiring of 2020, 2021 is kind of over, but people still struggle sometimes with hiring. And I'm here to talk about how I've gotten over it. In 2020, I didn't have a problem hiring because of these tricks that I pulled, and I am eager and anxious to share them with you, okay? Because I love doing this. I love teaching people and mentoring people and leading people into success, and that's what I do every day. So why not do it here with you? Okay, so when you are hiring people, okay, when you go to get people in to be hired, okay, there's a few tricks that I like to discuss. First of all, I want to say that some corporations do insist on having their signages, and this is pretty much on signs, and I'll tell you why here in a minute. But on signages, which have their logos on it, their colors on it, and people just look past it. So this is a disclaimer of some sort, if you want to call it one, but your corporation might not allow this or might frown upon it. You might get a little hand slap on it. I don't know of many that would do any more than a little hand slap. If you have a tyrant for a district manager, you might get written up. So just be cautious. You might want to ask for permission, or take the chance that they won't mind. But that is something that you need to know, that sometimes this is frowned upon. And it was in my industry or my corporation, but when they saw the results, they kind of backed off, and they were great about it. And then corporate came up with their sign with my recommendations, but the problem is the logo was on it, and people just, they can't get their head around, especially HR people. Love you guys, but you like your logos, and for these help wanted signs, they don't work. Okay, but what I found was, if I wasn't in a real hurry and I just wanted to get somebody hired, or because I always did like a half a person over. If I was looking for that person or whatever, wasn't really pushed to hire anybody, but I did need somebody, I put all this up at the register. So my first thing is a register sign, okay, where the customers can see it. My second place, now, I'm feeling a little pushed. I kind of need somebody, in the next week or so. I got to get them hired. I'm going to put it on the door. Now, my third one, where the sign's going to go, would be if, like, I took a vacation one time, and at the end of my vacation, 3 people had dropped off. The reasons were crazy and weird and everything else. Nothing anybody could have predicted. But what I did was I took an A-frame sign, and I put on my A-frame sign, each side, I put, what it was. And I'm going to show you what I'm putting, right? I put on each side, and then I put balloons. And boy, did I get a lot of people commenting about that, or not commenting about that, but coming in, okay? So A-frame sign. That's desperate. That's a desperate time right there, right? Now, one thing I can tell you is you do not want to print these signs up by hand, okay? Be professional about it. Yes, it's not going to have your company logo on it, but it doesn't mean that you have to give up professionalism. It should be done on your computer through a printer. Firm believer of that. No handwritten signs in retail, okay? I don't care. Maybe you're a small business owner and you're watching this. Whatever. I don't care what your gig is. No handwritten signs. Tacky, don't want them, okay? On the A-frame, I actually bought letters from the dollar store to put on them to make it look really good. And the bottom half was, it was a chalkboard, and I did write on that, but the top was really professionally done, and it did come out. I wish I had pictures, but I don't. But that kind of gives you an idea. Always, anything that went into my store, like if I had it up at the register or on the door, was done through my computer and done with, even a little border around it, whatever, just to make it look as professional as possible without that company logo or the company colors. Weirdly, people just overlook it. I've tried it, I've seen it, and it just really doesn't. So first of all, I'm going to put either help wanted, now hiring, your choice, doesn't really matter what that first word is. And then I'm going to bullet point it on down, okay? Now my bullet points should be very simple, okay? We're in retail, okay? People don't care about a bunch of, they care about a few things, okay? I'll tell you what they care about. They care about competitive wage. They care how much am I going to get paid? I'm obviously not going to put how much. Unless you're really knocking it out of the park and how much, I prefer not to. Competitive wage, you're more than welcome to put the wage up there, $13 to $17 an hour, whatever it is. Hey, that could work too. I've never tried that route. I've always just put a blank statement of competitive wage. It seems to work well, but I wouldn't poo-poo or frown upon a different wording on that if need it be, or you wanted to do it. My second thing is how am I going to get paid? Well, we pay weekly. So that was a big draw. A lot of people are looking for weekly paychecks. So paid weekly, all right? I'm drawing them in now. I'm drawing them in, That's what this is about. This is about getting them in, okay? Because you are desperate, right? You need help. You need to get that qualified candidate in. So help wanted, competitive wage, paid weekly. Pretty simple, right? Pretty simple. Maybe no overnights. That's always a good thing, especially in my industry, because I was in the C-store industry, where a lot of people would assume that my store was going to be open 24/7, which it wasn't. So no overnights was a big deal. All right, so and then flexible schedules. So the flexible schedule, I feel, is another thing. So I did my four bullet points that I feel is strong, to the point, little, like nothing, over the top. Now I'm going to put apply within. Do not send people, don't send people to the computer. Don't do it. They're not going to come back. They're never going to see them again. You're never going to see their application come through. As crazy as that is, or as fictitious as you might think that is, trust and believe, if you send them out of the store, you're going to see 1 out of 10 people. Get them right away, right here with apply within. And we're going to talk about what that means here in a minute, even if you have a company website and what that means. So I just wanted to elaborate on this a little bit. If you're hiring for all, like say if you need an assistant manager, or if you're a district manager and watching this and you need a manager and you're willing to do like something like this with the A-frame or whatever, you might want to add a few more things. Benefits, 401k match. Advancement opportunities. So if you noticed, so so to me, that's enough. You whatever you find great about your company is not a bad idea to put here and to bullet point it down. Make it simple, make it in bullet points, And if you're not looking for anybody and everybody, if it's not all, if it's not management, if it's just your average Joe making $13 an hour, whatever it is that you're paying, or whatever it is, you might want to stop here, do 4 points. But if you're really looking for professionals, you do want to go on. And then apply within. Let's talk about the apply within. I am going to show you a real simple, and this form that you're going to have them fill out, I do recommend that if you can get your company logo on it, if you can get it to look as professional as possible, maybe if you have a little bit clout into your company, to try to get your company to make a simple form up like this, or if you can do it without them getting mad. Again, if you're in a corporation, you got to find out what their rules are and regulations. You don't want to just go willy-nilly on this stuff, but let me tell you, it works. And if you can get this approved, I recommend it. So if they come in and they say, I'm interested in the job that is on your door, you should have a form that is something like this, okay? Like I said, make it as professional as possible. Put on there all your company junk. It doesn't really matter. This is for them to fill out, and you want to come across as being a legit good company, right? So you want their name, you want their phone number, because you got to get a hold of them, maybe an email, and I suggest you put the date on it, because sometimes, and you're not having anybody sign this, so you can make notes in the back too. Let's not forget on what the interview was once you meet with this person. And then you just want underneath here, something like this. Again, revise it to whatever you want, but this worked really well for me. And just this right here alone, again, I'm not having anybody sign it or anything. This isn't an application. This is just so I know what you want as an employee. Okay, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, AM, PM. So now that gives and you're going to put availability, right? Maybe here. Okay, so the person that's filling this out, hopefully they're going to do something like this and say open, and then do something like this and say open. I'm excited because John Doe 999-555-777 has open availability. I'm calling this guy, okay? My point being, then once they come in, or you can do, when you call them on the phone, you can do just a quick phone interview if they have time before you pull them in, so you don't waste your time. You can always do that and ask them maybe some pertinent questions. Like if you do backgrounds or whatever, just make sure that they don't have a problem with doing that, and then invite them in to come sit with you and then give them the interview. Those tricks, I promise you, give it a week. Sometimes you got to give it a week for it to be out, your sign to be out, and people to kind of see it. I think what happens is people go home and they start talking to somebody who they know needs a job and says, I saw a job. They were advertising for a job up here at the local store. You might want to go put your application in there, blah, 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 whatever. I think that's why sometimes it takes a little bit of time, but don't just discount it. I'm telling you, a week will come in and you will get some people applying. Okay, I know that. If there's anything you want me to touch base on, anything that you think that you want to know as coming into a management position where you want to do your job best and better, just leave it on the comments below. It's something that I will be looking for, and I will be wanting to hit topics that people care about. And I will be hitting topics here that I get asked as well all the time. Hopefully I hit your topic. Thank you, and have a great day.